Okay, hello there, and welcome to our training session on the Know Your Place website. My name is Karen Davidson, and I'm one of the archivists here at Gloucestershire Archives. I use Know Your Place almost every day to help me when I'm cataloguing archives, and I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to find it just as useful and fascinating as I do. Know Your Place makes it possible for you to browse historic maps of Gloucestershire and South Gloucestershire and other counties in the southwest as well, plus Bristol. We're going to focus on the Kingsholm area of Gloucester today, as that's the theme for this month's events, but the website covers the whole of the county. The website address is www.kypwest.org.uk. When you've loaded the site, just scroll down to the list of places under the Go to the Know Your Place map heading, and we're going to click on Gloucestershire. There are also resources on the website to help you use it, so it's worth having a good look round. Now the map loads on the centre of Gloucester, and you can see that there's a split screen showing a historic map on the left and a modern map on the right. You can click on the map and drag it around to orientate yourself like this. You can zoom in and out using the scroll wheel on your mouse or using your trackpad, pinch and zoom on a touchscreen device, or you can use the plus and minus buttons in the top left corner. I'm going to do that as I'm on the laptop today and my trackpad zoom is a little bit sensitive. If you know where you're looking for, you can search for an address or postcode using the search button in the top left-hand corner, the magnifying glass here. I'm going to search for the Heritage Hub in Kingsholm using the postcode. There we go. And it brings up a list that you can choose from, and we'll click that one. And it centers the map on that postcode. And if I just drag the slider across, this is the Heritage Hub building. You can see that it says County Records Office, which hasn't been our name for a very long time, but never mind, that's the Ordnance Survey. It's their issue, not ours. So you can see that there are two maps, the main map on the right and the comparison map on the left. You can change them by clicking on base maps here on the right-hand side in this information box, and then clicking on the appropriate tab. The main map is set to the most recent Ordnance Survey map, and at the moment, the comparison map is showing the first edition Ordnance Survey, which dates to about 1883. And if I slide the slider, we can see that the Heritage Hub site, there we are, was an ironworks, here the Alvin Works, in the middle of the screen, and a nursery in the 1880s. This was a nursery for plants, by the way, not for children. Now, if we click on the comparison map tab here on the right-hand side, we can then scroll down and see all of the different maps that are available. And they're in reverse chronological order, so the most recent maps are at the top. And if we scroll down, we can see here is the first edition Ordnance Survey. So the map that we've selected is highlighted with pink around the edge. So this is the first edition Ordnance Survey, 25-inch to the mile scale. We also have, just scrolling back up a bit, the second, third, and provisional fourth edition 25-inch to the mile maps. Second edition was published in about 1902, 1903. Third edition about 1919 for Gloucester. And the provisional fourth edition, it's the revised edition here, was surveyed in the 1930s, but you can probably tell from the final date, 1943, that they didn't quite get round to publishing the fourth edition properly because of the Second World War. And then after the war, there are the national grid maps. So they came up with a slightly different system, and these are 1 to 2,500 scale. So we'll have a little look first at the second edition map. So we'll click that, and we can see that in 1902-ish, there was still the ironworks and the nursery. on the Heritage Hub site. Let's just reorientate ourselves. There we are. And in about 1919, it looks like the site was empty. And this is because it had been earmarked for a school for some considerable time. The Heritage Hub building used to be a school, but it wasn't actually built until the early 1920s. So if we try 4th edition, there it is. And you can see that the little semicircular steps at the old main entrance on the northwestern side are still there. There we go. Now, the post-war Ordnance Survey, it says limited coverage. In fact, it does for the provisional edition as well. And that's because not all of the county is covered with those maps. It's mostly Gloucester and Cheltenham, and for the post-war map that I've just loaded here, also the Forest of Dean is shown. But we have hard copies of all of these maps at the Heritage Hub at Gloucestershire Archives, so you're very welcome to come and visit them. If your area isn't covered, you can come and visit and have a look at them. There we go. So now it says Kingsholm Schools. So the Heritage Hub building was Kingsholm Council School until 1973, when the school closed. And at one point there was an infant school in the southeast corner of the building. So I suppose it was a nursery for children, having been a nursery for plants, if only for a little while. Now, we'll just make our way a little bit further down, and we'll have a little look at the Goad insurance plans. Now, the dates of these are around 1887 to 1902 that are available on Know Your Place. They cover town centres, so again, it's limited coverage. But we have hard copy editions of these almost up to the present day. Now let's just click on it, and you'll see that Kingsholm isn't covered. But if we zoom out a little bit, you can just see a corner of the map down there at the bottom of the screen. Let's just scroll a little bit, clicking and dragging to see some of the areas covered, and I will just slide that over so that we can zoom in and see. Now, these maps were created for insurance purposes, and they show the occupiers of the businesses, all of the businesses, which is why they cover town centres, because they're interested in business premises. So there's a confectioners and restaurant here on Westgate Street. And there's the Corn Exchange, that's unfortunately no longer there. And just heading southwest, there's Longsmith Street, Lady Belgate Street. So we're heading down towards the docks. And there's Blackfriars here in the middle of the screen. And then Commercial Road. And then we can see the Talbot Mineral Water factory here, which was on the Blackfriars site. And in fact, if you happen to be walking down Lady Belgate Street past Blackfriars, if you get to this rounded wall on the corner, that's still there, and there's a painted advertisement for Talbot's Mineral Water Company there, even now. So that's rather nice. Now, going a little bit further back in time, these town plans, again, limited coverage, it'll be town centres. So let's click, and there we have the Mineral Water Works and Blackfriars Monastery. And I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to head back to Kingsholm. So let's just drag the map. So you just click and drag. Now, unfortunately, the square of the map that covers the Heritage Hub building is not on Know Your Place, but let's just go a little bit further north, because we can see that the rest of Kingsholm is on the map. So this is Kingsholm Road heading up towards Tewkesbury. Just show you, there we go. And you can see that the famous Kingsholm Rugby Ground is just here. But it's not there in the 1880s. It hadn't been built. I think the rugby club moved in the 1890s. So let's just zoom in a little bit. And we'll see that on the site was a house called Castle Grim, which sounds absolutely marvellous. I would love to see photographs of it. I don't think we've got any off the top of my head, but there you go. So the rugby club bought the Castle Grim estate, I think in the 1890s, and built the rugby ground there. And if we just drag the slider back, we can see that Castle Grim is just under the southern side of the ground and the big news stand there. So if you're ever at the rugby, you can have a think about Castle Grim while you're there. And we can see that Kingsholm Road there is a Roman road. Let's zoom back out a little bit. Now, the next map on the list covers East Dean, so it won't show Kingsholm, but if you're interested in East Dean, that's going to be worth a look. The next map is Cheltenham. So again, if you're into Cheltenham, that'll be the map for you. But the next earliest map is the Gloucester Local Board of Health map from 1852. And again, it's limited coverage. It doesn't cover all of Kingsholm. But if we just move down a bit, we'll go back to the Heritage Hub site. So we're here in this long building. And you can see already that it's very green. It's a very lovely map, this one. It's beautifully illustrated. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So here's the site. It's back being a nursery, and then right at the southern end of the site, there's this very lovely garden, which I assume must have belonged to a very nice house, which is now a petrol station. So there you go. And now if we just edge back up, we can see that on Alvin Street, there was a brewery called the Star and a pub called the White Lion Inn. And then a little bit further up on the corner of Clarence Row, which is the road that the Heritage Hub is on, Carpenter's Arms pub. So there are quite a few pubs in Kingsholm. Here's another one. And this particular area of Kingsholm was called Clapham. I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see a bit more. And it was lots of streets of terraced houses, a very busy community, which was cleared in the 1960s, and the flats and maisonettes that are there now, this area here, were built. And in fact, the Heritage Hub site almost met the same fate. After the school closed in 1973, the City Council were thinking of putting up more maisonettes and a public green space on the Heritage Hub site. But then local government reorganisation happened, and I think they probably ran out of money, so the building was never demolished. And then the Heritage Hub moved in 1979. We were the record office then. We'd outgrown our accommodation in Shire Hall, and so we moved in and converted it to an archive. Now, moving a little bit further back in time, we've seen the first edition. Let's go and have a look at the enclosures. Now, to make the map sort in date order, they've had to put the pre and the post for the enclosures after the date. So these are for pre-1840 enclosure maps, and these are for post-1840 enclosure maps. And enclosure was a process whereby common land was mapped and then divvied up between landowners. So let's just zoom out a little bit, because Kingsholm isn't covered. Oh, it's not covered on any post-1840 maps. But pre-1840, oh, there is a certain amount. I should think that the centre of Gloucester wasn't included because it wasn't farmland, so there was nothing to enclose. But if we just move a little bit, we can see the names of various landowners, the Mayor and Burgesses of Gloucester, John Turner, Mrs. Curtis. So, and we'll just, there we go. So you can see Kingsholm Road going up there, Escourt Road going from west to east, Denmark Road also going from west to east across the middle of the screen, and Sandhurst Road branching off of the main Kingsholm Tewkesbury Road to go off to Sandhurst. And there's the branch of the road there. And we can see also that Denmark Road, or what became Denmark Road, and Lansdowne Road are there on the enclosure map. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the exact date of the enclosure map on here on Know Your Place, but we do hold the original map, and we have digitized copies of the map and the schedule that went with it that told you what all the numbers refer to. Those are digitized and they're available in the research room at Gloucestershire Archives, so you're very welcome to make an appointment and come and have a look at those if you need to. And the schedule is called an award, an enclosure award, and it lists all of the numbered plots of land, and it gives the names of the owners and the occupiers. So it can be very useful if you're doing house history or even family history, actually. And now we'll just pop onto the tithe map. And the tithe was another mapping, and that was intended to convert the payments that everybody paid towards the upkeep of the clergy in each parish. They paid a tenth of their produce originally, but by the 19th century this was getting a little bit impractical, and they decided to convert that into money. And so again, maps were drawn up, and we can see that the King's Home area is covered. Over here it's mostly the farmland and floodplain here, so you can see the Westgate Bridge, Meanham and Walham. And if I zoom in a little bit, we can see the railway line. And so the maps were drawn up to work out how much money everybody would owe to the church authorities. And there is the railway line. There we go. And these maps also have schedules, and those are called apportionments. And those have been transcribed, and they are actually available online on our website. So if we just go, I'll show you. So it's www.gloucestershire.gov.uk/archives. And then if you scroll down to finding items in our collections, and then that'll load a great big list of useful sources, including a tithe apportionments database. Just click that. And there's a little bit of information about it. There's a help page to tell you how to use it. And then if we just click on the tithe apportionments under related websites, that loads the database. And then you can search for an entire parish or a hamlet. You can search by surname for landowner or occupier, first name and last name, and that will give you all of the information about the different plots on the maps. So that can be very useful. And let's just pop back to the map. So we'll scroll down a little bit more. You'll see that there are some other localized maps. So there's a really lovely 1835 map of Stroud. So if you're into Stroud, that's worth a look. The Court of Sewers maps show drainage along the banks of the River Severn further south than Gloucester, areas like Frampton on Severn and Berkeley. And then there's a map, an 1834 map of the Forest of Dean, and an 1825 map of Tewkesbury. And then the very earliest map is this one at the City of Gloucester, 1780. I'll just load it. There we go. And this is one of my favourites, because not only does it show you what was there at the time, there's the cathedral. Oh, I'll tell you what those little green diamonds are in a minute. But you can also see they've traced on the line of the city wall all the way around, so you can see the corners and the way that the wall runs. And this is around the time that bits of the wall were being demolished, so probably the people who drew this map up knew exactly where it went. And if we just scroll around a little bit, and I'll pull the slider back, and you can see here's the Heritage Hub site again. And you can just see that the line of the wall cuts straight across our site. And so when we were having our new buildings put up a few years ago, we had to get the archaeologists in to make sure that there wasn't anything exciting underneath our car park, no kings or anything. Luckily, there wasn't. Otherwise, I think we'd have been much more delayed in the building work than we were. And just by the way, and I'm just going to be a little bit of a map nerd here, so you'll have to forgive me. Those of you who are familiar with Gloucester City Centre and with Parliament Street and Brunswick Road, it just runs here. I'll zoom in so that you can see. So here is Brunswick Road, and the corner with Parliament Street curves. It's quite this lovely bend, and the houses follow the bend. And the reason for that, as you can see, is that there was a corner of the city wall there at the time, and so that plot of land curved, and then when the houses were built on that plot of land, they curved and the street curved. So even now, if you're going along Parliament Street and onto Brunswick Road, you're following the line of the Roman wall, which is really rather marvellous. Now, for information about all of these maps, you can have a look at the research mini guides, which are on our online catalogue. Let's see if I can show you those. So here we are, the research guides, you can browse them. And then there's about the 1910 valuation maps, which are not on Know Your Place, but there is a separate website for those. And the research guide tells you all about those. And then we've got all sorts of guides about different types of records. We'll just scroll a little bit more. So there's one about enclosure maps, and you'll see that we spell enclosure two different ways. Some people spell it with an E, but we mostly spell it with an I. Land tax, there's one generally about maps here in the middle of the screen. There's one about Ordnance Survey maps here. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. There's one about the tithe maps and apportionments. There we go. And then all sorts of other interesting subjects. So it's well worth having a look at those. And I will just pop back and show you where they are. So you access the online catalogue from any page on the Gloucestershire Archives website, this link at the top that says online catalogue. And that loads this site and a cookie banner. And then you can search our online catalogue to find out what sort of records that we've got. You can browse our collections, you can browse our research guides, here with this rather marvellous photograph of some cows on Minchinhampton Common, I believe. And you can have a look at our indexes as well. But I digress. Let's go back to Know Your Place. Now, we've used the split screen slider quite a lot to look at the maps so far, but there are two other rather exciting tools that you can use. And I'll just show you. Let's go back to the first edition Ordnance Survey map, and let's go back to Kingsholm, since that's where we're meant to be looking at. So I'm just clicking and dragging the map up to the Kingsholm area. There we are. Now, what you can do is you can use this slider on the right-hand side, right at the very right-hand side of the site. And if you click it and drag it downwards, it reduces or rather it increases the transparency of the map. So there we go. So now we're all modern map. But if we bring it back up, we can fade the old map in. And we can start looking at them one on top of the other. Let's move that a little bit further. So there you can see Castle Grim on the rugby ground site. Seabert Street here. There we go. And if we take that down just for a moment. So here is Kingsholm Primary School in the middle of the screen. And if we bring the slider back up, we can gradually see that it's been built on the site of a foundry. There's clearly something about building schools on sites of foundries in Kingsholm. And also some of the residential streets that were cleared in the 1960s. Council Street and Worrell Street, Foundry Street. So let's just, there we go. So you can see that Foundry Street no longer exists. It's part of the school site. There we go. And then the other tool that you can use, this square here in the top right-hand corner, where it says Spyglass mode. Click that, and that gives you the modern map, or the main map, I should say, depending on what you've set that to be. And a little square window that enables you to peep through the main map onto the comparison map. So City Gardens, that's rather nice. And that's now Dean's Walk. We can just slide the spyglass all over Kingsholm Gardens. There we go. And there's the Rugby Ground and Castle Grim again. Let's just have a little look. I'm just dragging the map a little bit so that we can have a look at Denmark Road. And you can see the high school for girls here in the triangle. Let's just slide over, and there is nothing there in the 1880s except gardens. And that's because the school was built in the early 20th century, so it doesn't quite appear on the map yet. The willows, that's no longer there. And the first edition Ordnance Survey map, you can probably just see that it notes about a Roman find, and that will lead quite nicely into what I want to tell you next. But let's just, there we go. So you can see there are 3 different ways of using the website. Let's just turn off the spyglass. And then it's put the split screen slider all the way over onto the left. So let's drag that back over. And let's wander this way. Now, you might have noticed lots of green diamonds on the map, especially over the cathedral. So we've been scrolling around, and then the information layers label that's in the box on the right-hand side. And these are another really useful resource. Let's just click information layers. There are loads of extra bits of information here. So we're going to look at the community layer. This is the green diamonds, and this is where members of the community have been pinning interesting information about places and images to the map. And we can see, let's just zoom in a little bit. There's one here on the Coach and Horses pub in St. Catherine Street. And if we click it, we can see that there's somebody's pinned an image and a little bit of information to this. And if we press the arrow, it'll load us up the information. And there's a reference number, so this has come out of our prints collection. And if we click the image, it loads it in full size. So here is the Coach and Horses Inn on the right-hand side. And I think this was the Rakes Sunday School on the left. And just by the way, if you want to see what things look like these days, you can use Google Street View. So here is the Coach and Horses pub in the middle of the screen. And then just in the background, these flats have been built on the site of the Rakes Sunday School. And I can highly recommend using Street View if you want to see what places look like now, or if you want to orientate yourself using familiar surroundings. It can be really, really useful in tandem with Know Your Place. So let's pop back to the image. There we go. It's not changed all that much. We'll close that. We'll go back to the information layer, and then to close this and go back to the map, you can either press the X in the top left-hand corner, which will close this screen, reload the map, and also it closes the little pop-up that appears. Or on the right-hand side, you can press the little down arrow. There we go. And that takes you back to the map, but leaves the pop-up with the information visible. Now, I'm just going to close that. And we'll have a little look at some of the other layers. I'm going to turn off the community layer just to avoid confusion. So untick that and the green diamond vanishes. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now, the historic environment record layers, these are all information about all of the archaeological information that we know about in the county, including things like Roman roads and listed buildings and canals and military information and so on and so forth. So there's lots of stuff to explore here. I'll just turn the general on. Goodness me, that's a lot of green. So I'm going to go and have a little look at the top of London Road at Wootton Pitch a moment and zoom in a bit. So there's St Mary Magdalene's Chapel beside the road. Let's click on this little circle. What's that? So that gives you your little pop-up with the information. Let's open it. So there was an as, which is a Roman coin from the Emperor Trajan, was apparently reported to have been found. I suspect it was found probably quite a long time ago. But this has been entered onto the historic environment record, even though they don't have all the information about it. But there is more information. Quite often there are links on these pages with more info to Heritage Gateway. So if you want to find out more, you can click that. But we can see here that this is one of 3 items that have been pinned to the map at this location. We can use the right pointing arrow to find out what the next one is. Good Lord, that's quite a lot. It looks like there was a Roman cemetery along London Road, and they found all sorts of Roman stuff just along that site. And then what's number 3? Let's click the right arrow again. Numerous find spots of uncertain location. So I think every time you click on something from the general historic environment record layer on here, you'll get one of these, because lots of things have been found in Kingsholm that haven't had their location recorded completely. So let's close this, and we'll close it using the X on the left-hand side to go back to the map. Now, let's turn off the general layer because it's a bit distracting. Let's turn on Roman roads, because I'm pretty sure there's a Roman road here. You might be able to see it on the first edition map on the left. Yes, there's a Roman road. So London Road, nice and straight, is a Roman road. And also, interestingly, so is Denmark Road. So that's been there a very long time, although perhaps not always quite on the line that it takes today. And let's just pan back across, because I bet you Kingsholm Road, yep, Kingsholm Road is also a London road, or also a Roman road rather. And you can see these, the brown lines. Let's just click on it. See what information there is. So there are field boundaries that they found, and that the Roman road was almost ploughed level by 1957. Not surprised. But the A38 more or less follows the line of the Roman road between Gloucester and Birmingham. Let's close that. And while we're looking at roads, let's just look at turnpikes. So let's turn off the Roman roads, untick that, and we'll click the box for turnpike. And there's a turnpike going up there and past, let's just zoom in, the little toll house at the junction of Kingsholm Road and Sandhurst Road, just here where it says LB. And I'm just going to drag the map back across. And there it is. You can see it's got that rounded shape, as many toll houses do. Now, we've had a look at roads. What about listed buildings? Let's have a look at listed buildings. Now, I'm going to change the map the base map for this, because the list of buildings are marked in red, and so are all the buildings on the first edition Ordnance Survey. So I'm just going to put on the post-war Ordnance Survey again, so we can see that the toll house that we were just looking at is listed. So let's have a little look. So there we are, early 19th century Turnpike Toll House. There we are. And again, there's a link to Heritage Gateway where you can load more information. Let's just click that. And just seal off the cookie notice. Heritage Gateway. So here's lots more information about the listed building. And the list gives you information about the building. It doesn't give you information about the people who lived there. But a good place to start for that sort of thing is going to be the censuses, and those are available on Ancestry. And Find My Past, as it happens. Now, so there's all the information about the Turnpike House. I'll just close that and we'll go back to Know Your Place. Having done all the list of buildings, let's have a look. Let's go back to information layers. We'll turn off the list of buildings, and another one that I rather like is the military one. All of these black shapes all over the map. Let's just click that one. If we open it up, we can see that there's an air raid shelter. So the aerial photographs that were taken in the 1940s, the Aerial Photographic Survey, shows lots of air raid shelters from the Second World War, and they've all been plotted onto the map. So that's quite exciting, because there's more or less no trace of those sorts of things now. They've all been filled in or built over. So there we go. And I'm going to turn that back off and have a look at some of the other collections. So the World War I layer, if we turn that on, this has been compiled by volunteers from references to soldiers in one of the Cheltenham newspapers. And so most of it currently focuses on Cheltenham. But we just happen to have in Kingsholm this little poppy here. They've used poppies for the symbols for this, which is rather nice. If we click on it, and there's a photograph, we'll open it up. So there is this chap, Private E.J. Sanders, who lived at 8 Swan Road in Gloucester. And if we click on the image, there we go, there he is. So there's Private Sanders from the 1st Battalion of the South Staffordshires, invalided home by frostbite. And so his parents lived at 8 Swan Road in Gloucester, and they formerly lived in Cheltenham, which is probably why the Cheltenham newspaper picked up on him. So there we go. And if you're interested in him or in First World War soldiers from Cheltenham, you can always come back and have a look at the map there. Yeah, see, he's the only one. And another interesting one is the women's suffrage, which also is mostly focused on Cheltenham, but we do happen to have somewhere on the map, there's one. See, in the women's suffrage colours, the green, purple and white. Let's click on that. No picture this time, it's a shame. But there are a few women from Gloucester who in 1909, so 19 years before the first tranche of women got the vote, she was one of 7 Gloucester women who sent in claims to have their names inserted in the Parliamentary and Municipal Occupiers list of electors. There we are, Elizabeth Bellows. And then, of course, women got the vote 19 years later. So she was a little bit early, but good for her. And there are another couple, I think. There's one on London Road. So this lady was a member of the National Union of Women's Suffrage Societies and was studying domestic science. And there's at least one other lady on the map for Gloucester who was a domestic science teacher. So I do have to wonder if they were getting a little bit radical at the Domestic Science College in the early 20th century. There we go, let's close that. And then the other layer that I just want to show you quickly is the industrial archaeology layer. And there isn't much for Gloucester, but Stroud and the Forest in particular are very well represented. But it's not Kingsholm, but I can't resist showing you Barton Gate. There we are. So you see the little factory icon. And this shows level crossing at Barton Gates. So until the 1970s, you had to go across a level crossing if you were anywhere near the leisure centre. Let's just have a quick look at the image. There we are. And just as a point of reference, this is what it looks like today. The leisure centre on the left and then Asda away in the back. So they've used the railway line to build the dual carriageway. Let's just pop back again. So there's the old leisure centre on the left and a bus. So there's the road running along the railway line, and then in the background you can just see the start of the platform at the old Eastgate station, which closed in the early 1970s. And just looking at the picture, you can date it to a certain degree. We don't have an exact date for the photograph, but the leisure centre looks very 1960s to me. We know, so it must be the early 1970s because the station closed in 1975. And to be honest, this young lady's clothes are a little bit of a giveaway. She looks very early 1970s to me. If we could get a better look at the bus's number plate, oh dear, not quite. We would quite likely have an earliest possible date for the photo too, because after 1963, new registration letters were issued every year. So if the number plate ended with an A, so 3 letters, 1, 2, or 3 numbers, and then a letter, the photo couldn't be earlier than 1963 because that's when that system began. But obviously in this case, this lady's clothes date the photograph quite nicely to the early 1970s. Anyway, enough of me being an enormous nerd about dating photographs. Let's just pop back and have another look at the view on Street View. There we are. So it's almost exactly the same as Asda on the old Eastgate Station site. Let's close that down and go back to the information. So let's close that down. Now, the other thing, go for the Heritage Hub, that hasn't been pinned to the map yet. So I'm just going to do that. And then you can see how to do it. So first you've got to decide what you want to share and make sure you've got all the information about it to hand. And then find the exact spot on the map. And generally we say to use the map nearest in date to your image and information. So let's go back to the revised edition, because what I want to add is a picture of the school at its opening. So what I've got is a really good picture of people queuing up to get into Kingsholm Council School on its opening day using the old main entrance, which was up the steps here. And you can see them a little bit more clearly on the map. You can see incidentally that the map doesn't always quite line up. Sometimes things are very slightly out, as you can see with the railway line here. But all things considered, it's pretty good. So let's just go onto the historic map. And to add my picture, I'm going to click the pencil icon that's in the top right-hand corner here. And then click on the exact spot on the map. And click Create a New Record here. And then we've got a form to fill in. And I'm going to just copy that, paste it to description. Now, do I consent to my name and contact details being recorded against my contribution? Actually, I do. So let's click the drop down and go yes. Here we go. Yeah, might as well. So if you do consent to your contact details being put on the thing, please do put them on. And we'll need them anyway because we might need to contact you about your contribution. So let's just put my email address in, my organisation. If you haven't got an organisation, don't worry. If it's your own personal photograph, as it happens, Gloucestershire Archives holds this item, so I'm going to put that there. Do I have permission to publish? That's very important. So if it's not your copyright, you'll need to find out whether you've got permission to publish this. Oh, in fact, we'll just have a quick look at the tooltip. It's gone. There we are. So you must have permission to put this up. I'll say yes. The linked resources is where you can put in things like links to other websites that give more information. So like the link to Heritage Gateway that we saw earlier with the Turnpike House. So now we have to add our file. So I'm just going to click Browse. Here it is in my Pictures folder. Or you can browse through your file system to find your picture. There we are. So I'm just going to open that. You can see the people going up the steps. So add that. And it says here you can add JPEG images, Adobe PDF documents, and MP3 audio files. So perhaps if you've got a little recording of yourself reminiscing about a particular place, you could add that. That'd be rather nice. Okay. And then we'll click Submit. And the moderators will check and approve this, and soon it'll appear on the community layer. It doesn't appear straight away because all of the contributions are moderated. There we go. There you go. I'll add it. Subject to validation within 16 working days. Marvellous. Just press OK. And we're back to the map. And you can see that nothing's shown yet, but that's OK. I shall come back in 16 working days and see what's there. We are likely to have some volunteer opportunities for adding more material to the map in the near future now that we're getting going again after the pandemic. So do keep an eye on our website if you fancy helping out. Or, as I say, if you have something that you'd like to add now, do feel free. You'll have seen at the beginning that there are other counties on Know Your Place West of England. There's also another Know Your Place site for the City of Worcester. And if you're interested in other counties, it's worth checking their archive service websites in case they've done something similar. Also, the National Library of Scotland has digital images of lots of Ordnance Survey maps for the whole country available online. So if you do a web search for National Library of Scotland maps, that should bring you to it. And their site works in a similar way to this one. And if you're interested in Bristol, they've got lots more information layers than we've yet been able to add for Gloucestershire. So it's definitely worth a look. And we'll just have a very quick look at Bristol. Let's just scroll back down. So you can see we've got Bath and North East Somerset, Bristol, Devon, Gloucestershire, North Somerset, South Gloucestershire and Wiltshire at the moment. Let's just click on Bristol, just out of interest. So this loads right in the centre of town on Queen Square. You can see their information layers. They've got loads and loads and loads. Lots of different photographs, pubs and breweries, conservation areas, historic cinemas, all sorts of things. Various community layers. They've got some oral histories on there, Great War stories. And what I found rather interesting was this Good Friday raid, if we turn that on, you've got lots of little dots, little coloured dots on the map. And when you click them, it tells you what sort of bomb fell in the Good Friday raid in Bristol during the Second World War. So red's incendiary bombs. Yellow, let's have a look at this one. At Broad Quay, confirmed unexploded bomb. Gosh, I hope they got rid of it. And so on and so forth. So you can browse the Bristol map to your heart's content. Or indeed the Gloucestershire map. And in fact, I'm just going to pop the first edition Ordnance Survey back on and zoom out just so that you can see the extent of the map. So here's Gloucester. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm just going to turn the community layer off because green diamonds are getting in the way. And I'll turn off the industrial archaeology. There we go. So you can see this bit in the top left-hand corner isn't shown because it's Herefordshire and the map only covers Gloucestershire. But you can see we've got coverage for the whole county on at least some of the maps. So it's well worth just popping onto the website and having a good look around, having an explore and seeing what you can find. Anyway, that's all for now. Otherwise, we'll be vanishing down all manner of rabbit holes. And I hope you're all feeling inspired to go and explore the map for yourselves and start pinning interesting things.